So apparently I totally missed that there was Lara pre-creation and discussion board reorganization post last week. A little bit more than a week ago already. So maybe we'll get another post this week with some more reworks for Lara. Let's see. But this is just pre-creation, I think. I don't think it's too long. It doesn't seem like they're really... Like, it's not like a huge patch note or anything. So we'll look at that and developer comments on discussion board topics. You know, that's one of the recurring things at this point where they kind of give the score on which kind of topics are trending right now on the KMS topics boards. And, but it'll be easy to see how they're like reorganizing the discussion board, because that was something that they were working on to organize the thoughts of everyone a little bit better and to make it so that they can really have discussions on topics that are important to the players at any given time. But let's see what, as I die, this is about. Oh, I know Korean. What are these normal physical proportions? Well, somewhat. Never mind, the hair is still massive. Giant eyes.
오늘은 뭐 재밌는 일 없나?
Ah, yes, more furries. Just what I need to have my game be taken more seriously. 안녕.
넌 누구야?
메이플스토리 낭만풍수사 라라.
Lara. Alright, well, that's who that is. We just had an edgelord and now we get kawaii. Yeah, I guess they do balance each other out quite a bit. Super dark, edgy, brooding. On the outskirts of nowhere, mechanical, cold city versus pastel, vibrant colors, floating spirits. It is the complete opposite of what we just got, yeah. Small patch on the official servers to add the pre-creation event for Lara and a pretty video, yeah, that we just saw. There's a surprising event for Kain, which other servers received earlier. Oh, the creation rewards? I think a lot of people were complaining that Kain got rewards in other versions on release, but KMS actually got nothing, so they decided to add them. Wow, is this one of the first times where other regions got something and KMS didn't, and KMS actually was like, well, I guess we'll give it to you guys then anyway? Sorry, bro, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate that, Prime, bro. Thank you. Basically a geomancer, yeah. In addition, discussion board was finally reorganized. They've already set the first 3 topics and discussions will be underway for 1 month. A whole month. Amazing. So yeah, basically what they were going to do with the board is that they were going to post the main topics, and then everyone, anything they want to say, they can post in like a subthread within those topics to keep to cluster the discussions a bit better within topics, so they don't have to go looking everywhere for them. Because there's also a little bit of an arbitrary way in how do you cluster things, right? So now it's going to be up to the players to post in the correct area so that it counts for the cluster that's relevant for it. Romantic Geomancer Lara. That is... Okay. So that's Lara. So, fuck. Is it supposed to be an S? I think. So, how am I supposed to read this? The fuck is that? Chon? Is that what that's supposed to be? Sachon? I think so. Nang Man Pu Pung? Dude, these are just blobs. You're not even trying to make letters at this point. Susa? Okay. Handwritten Korean? God, is it? Oh, this is just like chicken scratch Korean? Okay. These are the proportions did they make her eyes even bigger? No way. Also, if you ever draw these characters out on what their head shapes look like, their entire face is here. This is the size of their heads. Look at how much forehead is underneath here. Absolutely insane. Okay. I think Jim has a pre-creation event from June 30th to July 14th. Yeah, because we know that there are 2 more weeks in test server. I was actually expecting this week at least some feedback on Lara and how she's doing. If you guys remember when Adele was in the test server, there was an update every single week with a bunch of reworks on it. Good thing that they did that, because the very, very first initial test server release of Adele was absolutely broken. Character is still pretty broken, but you can only imagine how good it was. I see that the balls moved around here because it was like it was like max least amount on the first picture. I see that they moved them a little bit. You can create a character ahead of time to receive various rewards. Well, what do they get? All you have to do is log into the game and create your Lara. Beautiful. The rewards will be distributed after the patch on July 15th and will be available to claim until July 29th. Oh, only 2 weeks. A name tag, chat bubble ring, damaged skin, a small bell exchange ticket, mountain earth spirit package. So that's a pet, probably? Yeah, a pet Dorino. Cool. Character slot expansion coupon and 2021 turning a new maple leaf money box. Oh, one of these. Was it gonna have like 20? 2,000 reward points. BEA beautiful. Mountain Spirit pet and its equipment. Pet comes with an item and mezzo loot. Amazing. Expanded loot range and auto buff. Cool. 2,000 reward points, and if you're lucky, 20% chance for 3k maple points. Oh, that's 20%? They're giving the percentages now. 1% chance for an inkwell coin. 1% chance for 30k maple points. 0.5% for 5 inkwell points. 0.2% for 100k maple points. 0.1% for 25 inkwell coins. 0.002% for 500k maple points. 0.001% chance for 50 inkwell coins. And 0.001% for 1 million maple points. Lucky 1 in 10,000 people will receive that. Beautiful. So what is the total on that? 22.84. So there's only like 1 in 4, between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 people gets anything. And then almost all of those people just get 3k maple points. At least it's not 3k mileage. Why would that be bad? And then Kanye, Journey of Memories, my beautiful, deep, dark, twisted fantasy. Kain, beautiful. Okay, A, I, and oh, they're actually like E, N. Almost like helping us read Korean, almost. It's almost right. The I is actually here and the N is this one, but it's pretty close. So they are going to get the stuff that we already all got, which was like the damage skin, the annex set, and then the big bad box with the weekly stuff and a weird ad for Crodino. Cool. Burning World leap period has been changed. Oh, expanded by 2 weeks. Interesting. All guessing their expiration dates changed. Okay. Maximum number of character slots has been expanded from 47 to 48, of course. Barrier World's number of channels has been expanded from 30 to 40. Bigly. Hugely. Fixed issues with Maple on-air boom reaction. Okay. Screen would not end and continue to be outputted. That's not good. Fixing in certain situations, the creators step up monthly on-air reaction time missions number did not increase normally. And the guide quest description for level. Okay, sure. That seems like some small updating. And then, oh, another small ad. Discussion Board Reorganisation. So we're G, getting cut off. What up, my G? Not cut your jib. The discussion board has finally been reorganized. Nice. You can see the new board here. I don't really know what the old one looked like, but... there are now 4 main topics which users can post messages for. The current topics are open for discussion for almost a month. Okay, so... Boss reward reorganization. Oh, God. Wait, that's open for discussion right now. I would have thought they would already have a full plan with that, but I guess not. Boss rewards are part of the motivation, user challenges, stronger bosses over the current composition of boss rewards. And MapleStory is not sufficient as a growth driver. I mean, it stopped being that when you took all the cubes and the flames away from it. You motherfuckers. And then character growth, experience organization. Yeah, that definitely needs some rework. Improve the character growth experience of MapleStory. We have constantly adjusted level of difficulty and tried to improve in areas. Oh, an area. Jesus. I'm too tired. In areas such as hunting, quest, and events. However, many players are still complaining about high level of difficulty and hunting fatigue. I mean, your Korean MMO, that's always going to happen. Opinions about... yes, you can. Little Roots, if you want. Isn't it... Oh god, is it exclamation mark PayPal? Do I have that? No, exclamation mark donate. I think. That works. However, many players are still complaining about it. Yeah. Opinions about the reorganized discussion board and topics you wish to be added to the discussion board. So it's really just 2 topics that they want to talk about, which is probably good. I think it's a smart idea to keep it focused, and then if anyone has anything that they don't want to mention in there, it becomes part of topic 4, quote unquote. And the board itself, they're not doing like, okay, this is what we moved the board to, so this is just what it's going to look like forever now. No, it's like, this is the board. Do you like it? Do you not like it? And talk about that as well. Because I think it's very important to get the discussion board up the way that it's supposed to look and the way that people like engaging with it so that you can keep getting input. 1. Daily boss. If you only have a main character, please allow second... Again. Cygnus admission material reform. Oh yeah, they're looking for some good stuff. Takes a really long time to get through the daily boss every time you raise a little girl. It's auto-translated, guys. Chill. The story is not good or the directing is excellent, but the more you watch it every day, the more it is not new. It takes 3 hours just to clear the normal boss path. Roughly sell for coins or mesos in the coin shop, or if you are over 220, please drill some holes. Okay, this is why I don't look at like auto-translated patch notes before they're actually posted on Orange Mushroom and completely done, okay? Because we were talking about like raising little girls and drilling holes. In the same, like... We can't have that, alright? We need to wait until someone who actually knows the fucking language, because the bot obviously cannot be trusted, alright? You will need to patch Dunya while Jilra concerned. I think selfish. That's a whole lot of Haas. Are you so selfish? So what about the boss who dig through the bosses? He is a person who only thinks of himself as a stereotype. Look out. Yeah, some interesting stuff there. But Cygnus ambition material reform. After completing the boss portal, NPC gathering key and mouse. Let's get rid of group rewards and place them with individual. Yes, these are like some things that I think we're all talking about as well, right? So this is like, just get rid of shared rewards. Just make a whole bunch of stuff instance, right? Like right now with the honor experience, just take the total honor, divide it by all the players, and everyone gets like one thing that they can loot, and that gives you all of your honor. Boom. Look at how many Crusader coins, Silent Crusade coins you're going to get, divided over the players, and boom, let people loot it, right? Like, because the looting is such a nightmare now. Like, if you kill the boss, it's supposed to be like, oh my god, it's so rewarding, look at all the stuff that I can loot now. Now it's like, I killed the boss, and the looting begins. Like, that's supposed to be the fun part, not the annoying part. Hard boss rewards, boss party recruitment system. Yeah, so I'm wondering what their overarching idea already was. So my theory kind of right now is that the weekly boss reward menu or the weekly boss rework is going to be something like the current Neo Core shop, where you basically just collect Neo Cores, total amount per week, and then you can buy a bunch of stuff from the shop that you want, like an extra shop with extra stuff in it. However, I don't know how they would deal with upscaling if you do multiple characters. And upscaling with multiple characters would be horrible if the system would be more similar to what it is now in Neo. But yeah, for the people who don't know, so that in the upcoming update, at least that's planned for GMS right now, the upcoming update for July, we'll see a removal of all cubes and all flames from all bosses. And instead add flames to the drop table of regular monsters. And we'll add some flames and cubes, although I don't think that part is going to happen immediately. But there's going to be an addition of flames and cubes to the Legion's shop. And a little bit of a rework of the Legion shop, but that might not be in July yet. That last part that might be in September. So that's so that's a thing. And in KMS, there's not much drop there anyway to take away from, so that's like a good plus for them. For us, especially in Reboot, we get a lot of cubes and flames from our weekly boss, especially if you weekly boss on multiple characters. So that's gonna hurt us quite a bit. So I hope that some of the rework, that they throw in there in KMS inadvertently actually compensates for that loss in GMS that also inadvertently came on our path because of how different the servers are, Reorganize the way the mobs to go to the boss room. Please definitely increase the top boss rewards. Please change the boss entrance portal. I hope that they mean with this like the variants and maybe some kind of pity system with the pitch boss items. I hope that's probably something that I think this game needs at this point. There's too much RNG, especially in the Reboot server. Too much RNG to that kind of determines whether or not you are going to get to a certain point in the game at this point. If you have trade, then that gets compensated a lot, but right now, if like some people just have 22-star pitch boss items, and other people will have run more bosses but just haven't gotten the drop yet, or have gotten the drop but have boomed it because RNG, and you're like below the totem pole to these people, even though you've done the same or even more. But there's like no fairness in that system whatsoever. And I feel like that will probably suck for a lot of people. And you ideally don't want to have a game that just sucks for a lot of people. Ideally, but Please improve the method of acquiring jet black. Yes, I agree with that too. So that's going to be that part. Hopefully they give good feedback here on what they think of the board, what other topics they want on the board, and then the two main topics right now, boss reward reorganization, how that should look, and the character growth experience reorganization. For this, what I was thinking for character growth reorganization is something similar to like the Maple guide that kind of like takes you from area to area. But instead of, it looking like this, I think it would be cool if you could get stamps for every single thing, and stamps could actually get you rewards, and there could be some stuff that you unlock on the bottom here for going to certain areas and completing certain stuff, but it could be way more relevant stuff. So it could be some extra mezzos, it could be some epic potential scrolls, it could be like a few flames here and there. Once you get to the 200 areas, completing whole areas, it could be like a chunk of 20 nodes per area, or 30 nodes or so, or something, for every new area that you unlock. Or maybe some arcane symbols if you get to a new area, something like that. Something that makes it relevant and that kind of helps you, because the Skinner boxes work really well, right? Like every time you do something, you get like 16 other things you can click and you can get a bunch of rewards. Even if the rewards themselves in the long run are just peanuts, it'll feel like people are getting a lot. And sometimes you just, in order to make it so that people keep want to play. I think Scardor.exe just stopped working. In order to make it so that people want to keep playing, there we go. That was how the sentence works. Sometimes you need to appease the psychological aspects in a way, and I'm definitely not advocating for fucking with people's mental, because some games 100% do that, right? They just 100% prey on FOMO and on sunk cost and on all of that shit, just to make people feel like they should be doing more, just to get them to play your game. Definitely need to be careful to not stray into that territory, because I think that would be a big problem. But there's definitely something to be said about giving a little bit more, and with a little bit more regularity, maybe a bigger bonus to the first character, a little bit less to repeat characters. And one thing I think that's in here is more overlap, I think, with doing pre-quests for a boss, allowing it to be account-wide rather than having to do it on every single character. I think they're pretty good with it, though. Like Lotus, Damien, Akechi, those are like pretty long ones, and those are all account-wide at this point, so that's already a good move, but I think they could do that for a few more things. The problem with the Neo Core system is it almost never makes sense to put cores towards flames unless you have all the droplets, basically adding flames to such a shop. Oh, I wasn't saying that I think the shop is going to have the same items in it, just the same system. Like you get points per boss, you can redeem the points, that gives you a currency in the shop, and then you can buy items from the shop. But I would expect the items in the shop to be not the same ones as now, like not to have a bunch of droplets and stuff in them. Maybe have some droplets in them, but maybe only like, I don't know, like 5 per month or some shit, right? Or 10, or well, that would be a weird number, but maybe like 20 per month? I don't know. Or yeah, maybe it has pitched items in them. I don't know, but for like a few thousand points. So like if you really get unlucky, even if after like 2 months, you'll be guaranteed to be able to buy one of them or something. If you do all of the hardest bosses, for example. Yeah, Damien isn't even that long. That's true. A red book, something like that. That I guess that would be a built-in pity system, right? Maybe you give. Here's how I see it. What if you give currency based on the boss content star color? So like all of these gray star dudes give like currency 1, whatever it is. These bronze stars, currency 2. Silver stars, currency 3. And then gold stars, currency 4, something like that. And then you can have 4 store tiers, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then every tier has like its own items in it and its own limit per week or per month or whatever. That could be something that I can see. And then like the third tier would have stuff for pitch boss items, for example. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about what you think that's going to look like. So those two main topics, like boss reward reorganization. What do you think about the whole system, and what I just mentioned about what is going on in KMS with that, and then the character growth experience reorganization. What do you think is the relevant thing to do? What are some suggestions that you've had in your head and you've wanted to put out there? Let me know. And then the second thing we're talking about is the developer comments on the discussion board topics. That's on 6:30, so that's from the day after. That's also already a week old, my bad. But I think this is from all of the posts right before they reorganized the board, I think. Just be focused on topics with a single post with a high number of recommendations and topics with a high number of posts overall. During this process, posts registered by the same users repeatedly were considered as one post. Yeah, fuck those spammers. In addition, we would like to inform you that comments on things that were previously answered by the conference suggestions notice board, previous developer comments or developer notes from the update release notices have been excluded from this notice. Yeah, don't ask things that are already answered, guys. Come on, bruh. Developer opinions on discussion posts with high recommendations. New characters are continuously being released, but the number of link skill slots has stayed the same and needs to be expanded. So the amount of switches you can do in link skills has gone up in KMS, but the fact that whether or not you can use more link skills, I think, is a viable question, right? Because you have access to way more stuff. Can we add a few more of those? Still limited, like not an unlimited amount of link skills, but is that ever going to go up? Player's number of characters has increased due to the continuous release of new classes, but the number of link skill slot has been fixed at 12 and not expanded, which is inconvenient. As mentioned in the conference, the expansion of link skill slots is currently under review. In the June 17th update, we first increased the daily link skill transfer limit, and the link skill expansion method will be announced as soon as a review is complete. Okay, so it is something that they're thinking about. And like I said before, I think it's good if there's a general topic that you want to rebalance. I think it's good to make small tweaks and then see how the system settles and see if people still think it's a huge problem and it still needs a whole bunch of stuff done. if a small tweak is enough to fix the problem and to see that there's a squeaky wheel somewhere else, and then we can go oil that one, and then we can come back, always circle back later. I think overcompensating or doing like a whole bunch in one system or impacting multiple pieces of a system that's interconnected can have the negative effect where now it's like super overpowered on the other end, and it actually takes away power from other systems in your game, because now those are going to be underrepresented because people will flock towards the one that's way more efficient. So I think small tweaks, see how it goes, check the discussion board, see if a lot of people are still unhappy about it or if way fewer people are still complaining about it, and then go from that feedback. I think is a good idea. So they're going to review it at that point. Please shorten the cooldown on the Meisterville teleport. I believe that's a half-hour teleport into Ardent Mill that they're talking about. It's used by many people to get the MVP experience buff effect. However, if a large number of people suddenly gather, it becomes a situation where various unexpected issues can occur. We ask for your understanding that we cannot help you move to this map more easily and more conveniently. So they don't want people to be able to go there quickly, because if everyone can always go whenever they want, it would crash. I mean, you can just double click to any big town map and then go in, right? I mean, it's an extra teleport. I do understand though that the extra risk of losing your map by moving around more like that. But I mean, even if you're going for an MVP through the teleporter, you still need someone else to hold your map. Yeah, I don't know. This is a more specific problem. I don't even go for MVPs, because MVPs leads to CCing, and CCing leads to DCing, and I'd rather keep my map and just keep training. So they have shit teleport rocks. Yeah, that's true. They have like the limited uses thing, right? With a cooldown on it. Well, they would have to use like a return to town scroll, then go in, and then teleport back with the rock. God, that sounds like such a horrible existence. Yeah, start one right before you start your session. Yeah, that makes sense. But then once you have it, you stay there. Yeah. GMS chats, easy clap. Please improve the acquisition method for weekly guild points. Yeah, so guild points and all that stuff, if you haven't heard on that, I updated the video on that recently as well, or like 2 weeks ago, I guess now, where in KMS they changed a whole lot of stuff about guild PQ and guild points. I believe that's still in TMS though, right? Sorry, in KMST. I believe that hasn't gone into the game yet, but I could be wrong on that. But I believe that was part of the TESP update as well. The intention of setting... No, that one already went live. Never mind. I remember now. It was already in there twice. The intention of setting weekly guild missions numbers, as they are currently, was to encourage gathering 40 guild members as one of the goals of guild growth. We've tried to check our data to see if it was working as intended. There hasn't been much time since the guild reorganization, and some bugs also have occurred, so our accumulated data is insufficient. When enough data for analysis have been accumulated, we will check the noblesse skill points acquisition status and prepare additional improvements to the weekly guild missions. The intention of setting the weekly guild missions numbers as they are currently was to encourage gathering 40 guild members as one of the goals of guild growth. I remember reading through those patch notes. You could do everything solo, no? I thought the whole point was that you didn't need to gather a lot of people anymore. Because everyone could just do the stuff on their own time, and then you could just throw all the points together. That's how I read it. Did I read it wrong? Yeah, but the word gathering implies in one, like, together in one place in the game. I guess they mean gathering as in having in your guild. But that's a little bit of a weird word to use there, I guess. Because, I mean, the guild PQ and the jump quest and everything being like solo. Well, jump quest not, but the guild PQ part being solo. But yeah. Please roll back the June 17th patch's elite boss alert display changes. The patch fixed certain errors with the elite boss appearance notification, and there were some misunderstandings due to insufficient explanation in the release notes. Elite boss notifications should not be displayed in areas where elite bosses do not appear, or in areas where elite bosses appear in nearby but unconnected areas, and there was an error where certain areas had unnecessary notifications. In areas like Cernium and Hotel Arcs where elite bosses do not exist... oh yeah, they don't exist, that's true. Elite boss notifications from Fox Valley, which is not connected, will no longer appear. And in Asylum, Verdel, Edelstein, and Lebenwein areas, the monsters below level 140 where elite bosses cannot appear, notifications from Savage Terminal and Mechanical Grave will no longer appear. So what they're saying is they didn't... Yeah, because the first notes in test PR were like, oh, we're removing all the elite messages, and everyone was like, well, what the fuck, we want those. Why would you do that? But it seems that that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is they're making it so that you don't get a bunch of pop-ups from elite bosses that are insignificant to you, that are either you cannot get to, or they're from different areas that aren't even connected to where you are, and it's just spam on your screen. As long as that's the fix, then I think that's fine. As long as they don't make it so that the messages are gone. Because I think a lot of you look for those messages to be like, oh, let's go over there, let's see if we can get an EPOT, right? Please reveal the logic that was changed to improve the reboot seed ring acquisition difficulty. With this improvement, we removed the rings that did not match the job's main stat from the reward list. Since existing rewards were not replaced with others, the chance of getting main stat rings has been slightly increased as a result. Seed content, including their rewards, will be further reorganized in 2021. Okay, so they're still going to be working on Oz. Please split the application time of wealth acquisition potions and experience accumulation potions. Split the application time. Oh yeah, like cut it down to like an hour or to 30 minutes. Since splitting the wealth acquisition potion duration into shorter time periods can increase the supply of mesos and items, it is something that needs to be approached carefully while closely reviewing the changes to the overall game economy. However, we think there is enough room for improvement to split the experience accumulation potions into shorter time periods, and we will notify you about this after reviewing it. Okay. So that seems like something they're open to. They just don't want to make the same mistakes like they did with the flames, where they were like, okay, here's everyone's compensation for the flames. And then people were like, prices of everything are fucked now because people just got millions of flames. And the value of items is going absolutely nuts. And they were like, oh yeah, we didn't take that into account whatsoever. So they just want to make sure that they don't do that again. Fuck the economy. Well, that's essentially what they were trying to prevent, yeah. Developer opinions on the discussion posts representative topics. Please add systems that can alleviate growth difficulty. Making various improvements to alleviate the difficulty of character growth, such as reducing the amount of experience required to level up, improving hunting grounds, and increasing the experience from Monster Park. So this is still one of the topics, so this is still ongoing. Oh yeah, they added a lot more experience to Monster Park, and they added a lot of experience also to completing the dailies in the Arcane River area. That was actually a huge buff as well. Those two things together actually allow you to level very quickly on your character if you just do dailies on Monster Park. You actually level from 200 to 235 like into Asphera, like relatively quickly without training sessions even. You know, if you're doing it on like a second or third character that you're like slowly trying to work your way up there and then, you know, throw a bunch of money at it and then start training at 235. Like map is 1 bill per clear without the Sunday bonus. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's a good change for casual players for sure. However, there's still many opinions about certain level ranges where experience gains are insufficient, and the development team believes that we need to take more action to alleviate growth difficulty and improve the growth experience. In addition to the various improvements we have promised this year through the conference, we would like to hear your opinions about the things that need further improvement. As a part of this, the growth experience has been selected as one of the topics. Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea to kind of try to identify which level ranges has the most issues. Like if you were leveling from 1 to 275 or something, what level range do you just felt the worst to you? And that can be class dependent though. So maybe for some classes there needs to be some tweaks. But the main thing I think for a lot of people is going to be like supply of maps, map layout, and just overall experience of, like from monster kills. But again, all of the things that come from this, if they switch things to be better in KMS and we just get those things, you know, trickle down because we're copying everything, that means that disproportionately that's going to help us more because of spawn increasers. However, there might be some updates on Kanas and spawn increasers soon as well, to make sure that we don't keep, we don't keep having that extra factor of multiplying whatever good stuff is coming our way, and that will increase the gap more and more between us and KMS, of course. Yeah, okay, I read all of that. Please delete or improve boss monsters' daily entry limit. We set the entry limit for We set the entry limit for boss monsters as a challenge, but there are cases where entries are unintentionally consumed due to things like system errors. We apologize for the inconvenience, and we will try to find ways to improve the daily entry limit by monitoring the frequency of these errors. Yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm a proponent of practice mode having the multiple stages of the boss in it, so you can like solo certain stages and practice them solo before you enter the actual boss fight with the team, so you know a little bit more what you're going to be doing. You know, allowing people to practice the will phase 2 test, for example. Hopefully you can get to the HP where you have the test, versus just never getting in there ever, or having to go through phase 1 first and only to like die miserably again. I think that will be a good thing. The main thing I have a problem with is the 30-minute cooldown entry, or the completely unnecessary 24-hour cooldown entry on some bosses that don't make any sense anymore in this game. Like, let's say you run on Wednesday or something, you have to like double run, and you DC on Hard Lucid. Like, you should be able to just go out and either try Hard Lucid again on the same day, or be able to just go into normal Lucid with like by yourself or with one other person and just mow that down. The fact that there's a 24-hour waiting period there, I know that it's like to prevent abuse stuff, but how much abuse is being prevented versus how much are you just blocking legit players and just giving them a horrible time? I guess with everything you implement, you have to see, like, if this is 10% blocking abusers and 90% making it so that, law-abiding citizens just have a shittier time playing the game and feel inconvenience from it, then it's just not a good change, right? And the half-hour entry stuff is so ugh. Like, for the people who don't know, the half-hour limit to enter boss fights was implemented because what people would do to get more crystal value in CRA is they would go in with a carry, go in with a low-level character, they would get the boss really, really low but not kill it, then leave the party on that carry character and leave the mule in there, switch on another character, and drag another character through it, and do it like on the 4 different channels that had CRA at the point, and then the 4 people would like kill the boss at the same time, and all of them would get half the value, even though 4 people ran. So you essentially like double the amount of mesos you got from crystals. And this was such an elaborate way of making any kind of money, and it was such a thing that we didn't do at all. But because of that, we now have 30-minute cooldown between all the entries and the boss fight, so that somebody can't do that anymore. Whereas it seems like a way easier fix to just say like, hey, you entered with someone in the party and that person is still in the boss fight. You have to wait until they're done. Rather, like for this same boss fight, you can't go into the same boss fight that one of your party members is still in. Rather than now everyone everywhere has to wait 30 minutes if they like have a unfortunate run and they have to like leave the boss fight, like accidentally split clown. Well, fuck your half hour. Now you just have to go do something else and play a half hour extra. That's a really unfortunate rework that I think, you say security versus usability? Yeah, I think it hampers the usability way more than improves any kind of security. Please release invisible weapons for all classes. Oh yeah, we heard that that's something that they wanted in KMS. I think we read that before. When transparent weapons are equipped, it often looks awkward when weapons are not visible in skill actions. Right. I think did we see that post on Reddit or something? They basically just said N omega lol, yeah. Just big nope. Please add a feature to skip stories. I said in the conference written inquiries answer item 184 for story content that is essential to the character's growth process. We will improve it so that you can skip stories if you have already recorded a clearing of that content on your account. Yeah, and that's another thing I was mentioning, because I mentioned before, like, the sharing of boss prequests and stuff within account. What I meant more, because I think that's already in a good position. The longest ones, like Monad, Lotus and Akechi, like those are already shared, so I think that's fine. But the other thing is that cutscenes and storylines and that kind of stuff, like if I'm doing Morass for the 4th time or for, for the 2nd time or beyond, I should be able to like click a thing where it's like just skip all storylines, just kill monsters, kill monsters, kill monsters, let me blow through this thing. Because some of those storylines are really, really long. And if you've already done the exact same thing, you should be allowed to just kind of skip through that. And this is kind of how I advocate to play the game as well, right? I think it's very important the first time that you actually follow the quests, follow the storylines, do the content, find what content you like, find what content you don't like, find which content is functional, which isn't, and then for the future, for your 2nd and further character, you can streamline that whole process and just participate in the content that you know you want to do and you know is important, and then just fuck everything else. So it would be cool if like that approach would translate to how you can progress through the game and skip through the lore and such stuff. Please improve the World Leap events, fix starting worlds and resetting of certain things after moving. If the starting worlds were not fixed during the World Leap, it is possible that items from multiple worlds within the same account would be concentrated into a single world. Since this could have a significant impact on the game economy, we have fixed the starting world to prevent this in advance. In addition, certain things such as Legion coins and storage slots are information stored per world, and it's technically impossible to move them to other worlds. Because of this, we ask for your understanding that the resetting is currently unavoidable. In the future, we will review the technical aspects and try to improve them so that you can world leap more conveniently. Well, they added 2 weeks to it, right? Okay, and then discussion board post statistics. So, I mean, the ones with the highest percentage is the one they answered here. Let's see, we have 13% about job balance growth. Yeah, and then 9% about unify all up jump commands. Please. Please do that. I'm so annoyed that there's 3 different ones. You switch to another character, you get caught by the fucking toxic spirit in Spirit Savior because you forgot which up jump you were doing. Please do that. I want Nexon to provide more options for how we hold our weapons. Let us choose if we want to hold our sword while idle on our back, or like one-handed or a Hayato. Oh yeah, that could be cool. That you can pick like what is your basic stance and your in-combat stance or something. Although that would be, I mean, there would have to be some rules though, because I remember that one of the ways that I would be able to report people is by knowing and seeing that they use a certain attack and that their character didn't go into combat. That used to be one of the big giveaways that somebody was hacking. Because they could like use a bunch of skills and then boom, stop, boom, CC immediately, right? Because they didn't go into combat, so they never had to wait to be able to CC. So there should be some regulations to it. Dark Soul stanzas, yeah. I think you should unify the per se, but instead give you the ability to choose which method you'd like. Yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. I think that's fine. Whichever form of up jump you prefer. Meso consumables. Nobody really cares about this stuff. Game content. Bosses, remove daily entry limit stuff. Reboot World Leap. Oh yeah, a lot of people want Reboot World Leap. Improve SS rank on monsters. Oh, that's Monster Life. I don't know anything about that. Shorten the time between gold apple item changes. I agree. Need to shorten that. Improve profession crafting speed and mastery loss. They want to improve mastery loss. I think crafting in general needs a strong look at, because there are so many items that are just completely useless for anything, and so many items that we get that, you know, you end up kind of holding on to, but you don't really need, so you eventually kind of just get rid of them, I guess. I feel like more stuff that actually drops in the game also has utility rather than just NPC it. One thing I would like to see is some sort of mailing system of loot. If you DC after killing a boss, you can pick your loot from the list and the rest just gets deleted if you don't grab it after confirming or some shit. Wait, wasn't there something like this? Oh no, that was with, if you had a hired merchant, it would get sent to like an NPC and you could pick it up there, and if you didn't pick it up after a while, it would get deleted. Aren't emeralds useless? Kind of. You still use emeralds if you're accessory crafting. You use them to get from craftsman to meister when you make the God, what are they called? You make the gray symbols and then you turn them into meister symbols. And to make those gray symbols, you need emeralds. Emeralds and and dex crystals. Okay, buff feature check gets cancelled. That needs to be looked at. Allow us to change settings on the login and world select screen. That would be cool. Fill the vacant slot of the user advisory group. Oh, I guess they want to... oh yeah, because there was one guy who had to retreat for like personal business, personal matters, right? Okay. All right. Well, so let me know what you think about all of these topics that came up. And the main topics, boss round reorganization and character growth, experience reorganization. Or if you think another topic is really, really important. Again, remember though that this is for KMS, by KMS, on KMS, so they might have different issues at hand. The biggest servers are still non-reboots, so that is way more important for them, things that are happening on there. There is more of a push for like equal representation for reboot people as well, for them to not just be completely forgotten. The term minorities was used previously to refer to reboot users, so which I mean, okay, that's technically true, but feels a little bit like we're almost like polling reboot versus non-reboot people. But yeah, let me know what you thought about these topics. If you have anything to share on this, always good to read some of the suggestions that you guys might have, because that golden nugget might be somewhere in there. So feel free to share. And I'll see you guys